Hello. I'm just looking over here because my webcam is not a happy bunny at the moment, so I may disappear at any second. But can you see me? Can you hear me? All the usual things. Let me know in the chat. I don't know if it's working or not. I've basically got the webcam hanging together with hope rather than any electrical ingenuity. So I don't know if anyone can see me, but I'm just going to keep rambling on for a little bit to see if anyone can. And hopefully we can get the show on the road. I think that's the way that you say these things. So hello everyone. I know there's a few people in the chat. If you can hear me, I shall say hello to you guys. Looks like we've got a bunch of people in already. My goodness. Loud and clear. That's what we want to hear. Excellent. Yes, I must apologise. Before we came on, I was doing some testing. I use OBS to do the streaming. It's like a open broadcasting software. And I was playing around with the camera settings, trying to make myself look as beautiful as possible, obviously, but it wasn't going well. And then all of a sudden it just started flashing on and off and on and off, and no amount of dicking about with it would make it do anything. To the point where I was ripping the computer to pieces, ripping the webcam to pieces, but thankfully, for now, fingers crossed, touch wood, all that kind of stuff, it seems to be working. So if you see me looking off to the side every now and again, it's because something flashes up and I have a little panic attack. But anyway, we'll crack on. How is everyone this evening? Let me know in the comments if you're doing well. We can see John Bennett there with his special little sticker. That's if you join the channel, you get access to some extra stickers and what's the word I'm looking for? The little logo next to his name. I mean, this is not saying that. Obviously, this is the hard sell to try and get everyone to join the channel, but you get access to some stickers and you get access to some special emojis. Are they called? Let me see if I stick one in the chat like that. I don't know how I spend my evenings, but that took me the best part of a day to get the emojis working. So I'd like to thank everyone who has actually signed up to join the channel, because it feels like it's worth it now. But yes, we've got John Bennett in here. We've got Mickey Early. Was it you that ordered some fish recently? We'll talk about that in a bit, actually. Who else have we got? Angelfish Keeper Leroy. You'll be interested in something I have to say later, hopefully. Rab, Ian, Hobbyist Fish Keeper Will, how are you doing? Simon, Jennifer, GB. Let's have a look back through and see if I've missed anything else. Callum, Simon, Gerson, Bazareni Roo. I don't know why I like to say that like that. Bazareni Roo, but you have to say it like that anyway. Trevor, good afternoon from Texas. Hello there. Good evening from Sheffield. So, as usual, I've not really got anything planned especially for tonight's stream. I'm trying to get myself back into the swing of doing streams. I know I said on the last stream I might make this a bit of a monthly thing where we do that. But I might do it a bit more impromptu. In fact, I was thinking about this recently where you might have seen me post on the community tab, what do you expect from the channel? What are you expecting from me in terms of videos and live streams and things like that? Because everywhere you turn when you're looking at how to do YouTube, they're always banging on about you need to get a consistent upload schedule done and you need to stick to it, you need to do this, that and the other. And I've always been a bit of a, I think I'll do a video today, and then I'd record the video, edit the video and post the video all within the space of 3 or 4 hours. But when I had a bit of annual leave recently, I thought I would take a bit of care and try and plan out a load of videos so as I could release them in a bit of a consistent schedule, and it did seem to make a bit of a difference. But I don't know if that's just because I put a little bit more effort into my videos that I got a few more viewers than normally. So I'm thinking that I might try and do a bit of a schedule, but as I think it was Jennifer pointed out, I do have a job already and a family and 15 other things that rank higher in my list of priorities than doing YouTube videos. So it might be a bit of a lax schedule. I don't know if that counts still even. So my current thinking, and let me know what you think, my current thinking is that I have one main video a week, and it's probably going to be a Saturday or a Sunday, so as I can spend my evenings or any free time I've got putting together the video, getting it ready, and then I can release it on, I don't know, Saturday morning say, or Sunday morning. They seem to be good times for me anyway so far. And then that's the consistent bit, and then during the week, if I do have any sparks or bright ideas or something comes along that I feel I need to make a video about, that might just be a little Brucey bonus, and we release that in the, I don't know, a Wednesday or something like that. And then that got me thinking about, well, live streams, do they count? Because I don't know if they do towards the whole consistency thing, but do people like these live streams? I know we have a nice chat and it's a bit of fun and all that kind of stuff, but usually we only have maybe 20, 30, 40 people at most. I don't know if that's hurting the channel or not, or whether people get bored after 5 seconds and then bugger off and do something else. So we're going to try it for a while. I guess that's what we're going to say. I don't know why I keep saying we, it's just me. I'm going to try it for a while, where we have one definite video every week on a Saturday or a Sunday. Probably Sunday, I'm thinking Sunday morning, because then that at least gives me Saturday to do some of the filming and stuff like that. If I don't get round to it during the week, we'll have maybe a bonus video during the week, the midweek, and they might just be little quick ones, little no real editing going into it or anything like that. Just here's me feeding my fish, or oh, look what's grown in this tank, or what's been born here, that kind of stuff. And then I'd like to do weekly live streams. I just don't know if I can always fit them in and commit to them, because I don't know how you would feel if I tried to make it a regular thing, because I know I watch a few live streams of other people and it annoys me when they don't turn up. So if they have set a schedule, so it's every Friday at 9 o'clock, and then you turn up at Friday at 9 o'clock and you get a message going, sorry guys, I just couldn't be arsed, so I'm not doing it this week. And you think, well, that's fair enough obviously, but it's still a bit of a pain. So I don't know whether I want to make the live streams more of a spontaneous thing, or whether you appreciate a bit of notice to say we're going to have a live stream in 3 days. Put a note in your calendar. Not that I can imagine anyone's actually putting notes in their calendar to come and listen to me. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What are you thinking? Do you care about having these things scheduled? Do you want to, especially the live streams? I don't know whether the impromptu live streams work. Let's have a read at some of these. So we've got a few Scots in the house, or people, at least people living in Scotland. From Ayrshire, yes, I know it well. Hobbyist fish keeper doesn't think he could do live streams because he doesn't have a filter for his potty mouth. Yes, I think sometimes it slips out on me, especially my older live streams, because I really, for someone who makes videos on YouTube, I really don't like being on camera. So it seems a little bit different sometimes when you're filming yourself and it's not live, because at least then I can go blah, 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 and trip over my tongue. Sometimes I used to include bloopers in lots of my videos because it would take me 15 attempts to say hello sometimes. But when you're doing it live, I'd have a couple of beers, a bit of Dutch courage, as they say, and yeah, the odd thing would sneak out. Hi Travis, hi Raymond. You like the live streams because it's good to ask questions. Well, that's what I like about the live streams, is it's a chance for people to get that kind of instant feedback. Graham, what have you done with that tank in the back? It looks ridiculous. Well, I'll tell you what I've done with that kind of thing. I think that's really good and really useful for me as well as you. Oh, we've got a subscriber. My alerts work. Well, welcome Martin B. Say hello in the chat if you're here. What is that green light that moves side to side in the background? I see it in every video. I imagine you mean this. Oh my god, I've not turned on my fish tanks. Give me 1 minute, I'll need to turn them on. Can anyone guess what this is? I'm sure some of my regular viewers would know what that is, but let me just turn on the fish tank lights. I think there's a bit of a delay in this, so you may not have answered that yet, but it is basically, it's a Felix. Now can I show you this? I've not got my other camera hooked up. It's a Felix Smart. If you feel the need, you can go and have a look at my videos on the Felix Smart. There's one from maybe, I don't know, a month ago or something like that, where I first received it. It's basically a startup thing where, well, let's start from the start. It's an aquarium controller. It makes your aquarium smart. In fact, let me look up the blurb. We can do these things. I have the technology. It's a thing that was released a long time ago now, where I thought it was really interesting. Let me see if I can switch to this one. Oh no, didn't want to show you that one quite yet. Yeah, so it's here. Where have I gone? There I'm down there. Felix Smart is a smart controller for your aquarium. So it looks like this basically. It's this box here, which is a bunch of plugs on the back. This bit here, which is essentially a Senai, where you can monitor your aquarium parameters, does temperature, does light readings, all that kind of stuff. And then this thing here, which is a camera, and it's a 360 camera. So I backed it as a Kickstarter campaign or a Indiegogo or one of these things. It's got to be over 2 years ago now, and it got sent. Finally, it got made, and which is good. I mean, it took a while, and I was annoyed about that, but it eventually got here. Because often these things never get off the ground, so that bit was good. It came. It's the world's first smart aquarium. It's developed with all these guys who are. So George Farmer, you'll know as the aquascaper. Well, possibly know. Esther from the Aquaflora there, so and Thomas Burton, a real aquarium expert. Oh yeah, I recognise him. I can't remember the channel name off the top of my head, but it's developed with people in the hobby, but the guys who make it aren't really aquarium people, they're techie people. So this is it at the back, where you've got a bunch of plugs, a bunch of USBs, so it's something that's released at the moment with almost limited functionality, but it's what it can do that I think is the real selling point. So they've just actually released a firmware upgrade today, and it was only today that I got to look at it, so I've not really had the chance to play around with it, but it seems to be going so much faster, which was one of my main bugs about this, that you would press a button to look at the camera, and then you'd be waiting a minute, and then the camera would eventually appear, but now it seems a lot snappier. When you want to turn off the plugs, they turn off. But it has this automation functionality is what its kind of real selling point, I think, is, where it will learn things that you want to do, and you can also put in little programs with if this then that and other things like that, where you can I think the sky's the limit basically of what it will do when you program it like that. So you can have it, say, monitoring your temperature, and if it rises to a certain point, it will switch off the heater and send you a text message and do all these other things to let you know what's going on. But essentially, I'm going to use it under my big discus display tank, so I can plug everything into it, my CO2 system, my lights, I can plug the lights in individually, my heaters, my pumps, my filters, so that if I want to feed, I can shout at my Amazon voice control device that I don't want to turn on right now and say, do a water change. So these are all things that I can do at the moment, but I had to put in quite a lot of effort to get those things to work properly, whereas this will all do it within one box. And coming in the future, there's meant to be this AI thing where it will help you aquascape your tanks, and that's why they've got people like George Farmer involved. But yeah, I was a bit down about it at first, but I'm really excited about this now. I think it's really good. Especially since the limited little bit that I've looked at so far. But the green light is basically the front of the Felix. This bit here, it's like Kit from Knight Rider. It just goes zoom, 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 zoom. So it's really good. Bit of a disappointing start, but I believe the actual retail release is coming soon. So maybe I judged it a little bit too harshly. But we can take a look at it later. Oh yeah, and another thing is this health cam thing here, where apparently it will start to learn your fish behaviour. So as if it notices your fish are looking a bit funky, it's going to send you a message and say, oh, I think that fish might be ill, you might want to check out X, Y and Z. So whether it happens or not, all these things I don't know, because it was touted with a load of other things like battery backup and all those kind of things. Oh, look, we've got a new member as well. Jennifer Shepherd has become a member. Excellent. Thank you very much. That's made my night, that has. Where was I? Yeah, so it had other things that it was touted to be able to do, which never materialised. But it's kind of par for the course with any of these Kickstarter things. That's the way it happens. Things are still in development at that stage, so I think it's looking good so far. There was lots of mistakes made, and I pointed them out in my video, but I think they've made good on most of them. And the development cycle on this is really good, so I've talked to the guys who are involved in making this quite regularly. They've got a forum on Facebook where we'll sit and discuss bugs and things like that and feature requests, and they're really open to listening to it. And I'm not quite sure if they have committed to doing weekly updates, but there are regular updates and regular communications with that community to say, well, what else would you like to see here? Because one of the things I think will be really useful, and I haven't had a chance to check whether or not they've done this yet, but it is the trending of your water parameters, so you can see over time, like a graph or something like that, to say, right, so if I don't do water changes every week on the third week, then that's when it gets critical and I need to blah 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 blah. That would be really useful. And the really exciting thing is that I spoke to them back end of last week, and they've asked me to join their program where I get to give you a discount. So if you are wanting one, I think we get hold off just now because the retail release is soon, but I might be able to give you a code where you'll get 10% off or 15% off or something along those lines. But my plan is, in the next couple of weeks probably, I'll be making another video about setting this up on my big tank, and I'll do a bit of a run through of the features. And I think it's more of a fairer test than the unboxing video I did, because the unboxing video I did was more about me going, oh, it's massive, oh, the plugs are all the wrong way around, oh, the Wi-Fi doesn't work, oh, this doesn't work, whereas all that's been sorted now. So someone asked me a question about that. I possibly went off at a massive tangent there to do that, but let's skip back through. So Travis isn't a fan, obviously. It's so expensive what it is. George Farmer ripping everyone off. George Farmer isn't producing this, he's just on board. I think he had an input into the design, and obviously because his picture's plastered all over it, he did skip over some of the less than glowing errors or design features, as we're calling them these days. But I think that's because he's invested in it. He wants to see it do well. It is expensive, don't get me wrong. I think they were talking about 600 quid at one point. I'm not sure if the pricing is going to change, but it's not for everyone. I guess that's the way to look at it, because it's an expensive thing and there are other options out there. Now I think it is better than some of the other options that it's trying to go head to head with, which are similarly priced. But there's no getting away from the fact that with a bunch of smart plugs you could program something yourself. So a big enough extension lead and some smart plugs and you can make yourself a Felix. You won't get a camera to do all the things that it does. You won't get the Senai integration quite as easily, and there'll be lumpy and clunky bits, but you'll get the majority of it done for a lot cheaper than that. But it's still going to cost you a couple £100. But for someone who isn't technically minded, I don't think there's anything to rival it. What it will be rather than what it might be right now, I guess, is the way to look at it. Yeah, George got his at the same time as me, I think. Live streams never work for me because my connection stinks. Oh, I feel your pain, zombie nature. It wasn't until very recently. I live in Sheffield in the UK, but it's kind of on the outskirts of Sheffield, a little village, which until a year, 2 years ago maybe, I had the worst internet in the world, and I could not for the life of me get anything to. I used to do live streams from my phone. I'd get my phone up high, get the 4G signal and tether to it. Yeah, it was a bit shocking. I think I saw another new member there. This is unprecedented. Thank you very much for joining, whoever that was. I'm sure I'll see your name in a little bit. But thankfully we got fibre put in either a year ago or a year and a half ago, and ever since then it's been pretty good. Mountain Goldfish can't believe he's not a top contributor. Well, you know, there's always time. Just keep throwing in those comments. Can you get that off Amazon, says Jonathan. My God, another member. Now it's just putting me off. No, carry on. The Felix, I don't believe, is available on Amazon, but it does have Amazon integration. So with your Amazon Voice Assistant or Google Voice Assistant or iOS Voice Assistant, it works with all of them. I'm not sure about the costs, if I'm completely honest, Ian. I know I'm a bit far behind in the comments. Hobbyist Fishkeeper says, I was the first person to watch and live stream about 2 years ago with a beer and some snacks. So that's how I used to do my live streams, and I'll definitely get back into that, but I'm trying to slim down at the moment, so the beer's off the table for the foreseeable future. Travis says, what is your opinion on MD fish tanks? I think he's fine, yeah. I'm not sure what we're going for there, but yeah, I don't mind MD. I watch his videos every now and again. As someone who makes videos, I must admit I don't watch all that many other videos, but yeah, I know he used to comment, this is the galling thing actually. He used to credit me with getting him started on YouTube. And I remember him for years. He would send me videos on Instagram and things like that about his escapes that he was making and get started on YouTube, and he used to comment on all my videos saying, oh yeah, that's a great video, I might start making my own videos. And he's oh, go for it, yeah, that's great. And then boom, straight past me, and then he's still rocketing past me. So I'm not bitter or anything, but it's a bit like, oh God, why, you could at least give me a shout out or something. But no, I wish him all the best. I think he does some good stuff. Trevor says, it's a startup? It is a startup. Raymond says, I'd buy it just for the Night Rider light. If I'm completely honest, that's the only reason I bought it. If it didn't have that light on it, I'd have went, oh yeah, interesting, not bothered. But as soon as I saw the Night Rider light, that's a marketing genius. That I would definitely say, whoever came up with that ideas, they deserve a watch. Yes, Ian, MD Fish Tanks is a YouTuber with 150k subs. He's been rocketing up there recently. Rightly so, he deserves it. Yes, they still are developing the Felix. It's something that's very close to its retail release, so it's almost at the final version now. What do you think of the king digging a huge pond in his back garden for half a dozen 3-inch koi? Lost the plot now or what? The king and I have made an agreement to stop bitching about each other, basically. I'm going to stop watching his stuff and commenting on it, and he's going to stop getting upset by me watching his stuff and commenting on it. So I haven't really seen, I must admit, I sneaked a couple of peeks at some of his videos, and I guess there's a place for everyone. As long as he's not being racist, homophobic, any of the other ists, then do what he wants. I don't really care. There's plenty of other bad YouTubers as well that do abuse, straight out animal abuse. So I feel it's a bit unfair to target him alone. I mean, I guess I just made some videos about him mostly because I enjoyed watching his stuff at one point, and then kind of went downhill, and then he seemed to make a few statements or do a few things which really grated with me. And when he was the number one guy in the hobby, I was like, hang on, you're bringing the name down of my hobby, or you're bringing it into disrepute type of thing. But it is what it is. We've had several conversations about who's right and who's wrong and who should be doing what, which I never really understood, because in comparison, I'm the tiniest little tiny speck on the edge of a landscape, never mind any influence whatsoever. So I don't know why he gave me so much time. So I don't know. We're not going to be on each other's Christmas card list, but let him do him, and that's fine. A shame it costs so much. I'd rather use a manual test GoPro and buy a Stingray and have spare cash. Well, you never know. There are other options. It's not necessarily definitely the one and only thing that will do that. I just think it's going to do lots more in the future, and it is a similar price. I mean, I said 600 quid. I have no idea if that's true. I don't know what the final pricing is going to be, but the Apex systems and things like that, they're around that price too, especially with all the add-ons, and they don't do all the things that this does, or will do. I should be clear. Hello Wendy, Wendy's in. Jonathan, it was you that joined, was it? Yes. And Simon Harding's become a member as well. Right, let me see if I can catch up with some of these messages. Where were we up to? Love your t-shirt, I want one. Where did you get it, please? Do you mean this, Community Fish? It's a shirt I'll have, you know. I was trying to get myself all smart for my videos and live streams. Asda. Fashion guru that I am. I was in Asda doing the weekly shop and noticed this. I went, right, that's one for me. I'm going to buy that one. I think it was maybe all of £12 or something like that. But I have inspired others. I think Mountain Goldfish, if you're still here, you've got one of these as well, haven't you? So I'm a fashion icon. Who would have thought it? Have gin, less calories. I know. I'm not missing it, to be honest. I'm enjoying having a bit of a break. I'm guessing we aren't allowed to ask you anything controversial then. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Time Bandit. Or do you mean about the Felix? I mean, I think my only principle is that I try to be as honest as I can be. So even if I can do some kind of deal with Felix where I get a discount code for people, if I don't like it, I'm going to say I don't like it. There are still things about it I do not like, but I do like the things that it's promising to deliver. So I'm happy to support things. The same with most companies. I have, especially recently, I've got lots of offers from companies to do things, or please try my food, please try this light, please try this filter, and do a review of it. And I always say to them, I'd love to, yeah, that'd be great, because I want content, I want to be able to make videos. And I'll reach out to companies saying, I use your stuff, can you send me some more of it, and I'll do a video about it. But sometimes they reach out to me and say, yeah, of course there are, here are the talking points, and that's fine. Please say these are the features, yep, that's fine, and tell everyone how much you love it. And I go, well, if I do love it, I'm happy to say that, but if I don't love it, I'm going to say it's rubbish. And then radio silence. And you have to wonder about these companies, that if they're that insecure about their products, how are they managing to stay in business? Because I've done a few reviews of things. I think there was an algae thing that I got where someone sent me one, and it was pretty expensive at the time, and I slated it because I thought it was terrible. And they took it really well. They were like, oh, right, thanks for the feedback, we'll change this, we'll change that, you did this wrong, can you try it again? And we worked on it, and yeah, in the end I think we ended up with a better product. And I guess that's a bit arrogant to say that, but I don't have any influence in the hobby. I'm only a very small speck on the landscape, as I keep saying. But I am an experienced fish hobbyist, so I think my opinion counts for things. If I've got 30 odd tanks, I've usually got a use case for something, and I will have done it before and tried it, and I think it's useful to give these guys feedback. So a few companies have kind of flat out refused to send me it unless I guarantee I'll say how brilliant it is, and that's fine with me. I'm not going to name them and put them down and shame them or anything like that. But I think the companies that are willing to work with me and are willing to take the risk that if I don't like the product, I'm going to say I don't like it, they should be rewarded. And I think Felix is going to be one of those, because they know I've said some things about it that I wasn't happy with, and they fixed them, and now I'm perfectly happy with it. Obviously I'm in a slightly different position in that I got it as an initial backer when it was a startup campaign, so I paid I think about 200 quid or maybe 290, something like that, once the camera and all that was in. So obviously I got it a lot cheaper than the people that are going to be buying it retail, but I took the risk. I could have lost all that money and got nothing at all. What breeder boxes are you currently using and your recommendations? I've got 2 that I'm currently using. I've never been a fan of breeder boxes, if I'm completely honest. I'm just going to see if I can get them up on Amazon, because I can never remember what they're called either. I've always preferred to raise fry in the tank with the parents, if that's possible, obviously. And I've never really understood breeder boxes or why you would want to do them, because I always thought, oh well, don't they stress the fish out and don't they do this, that and the other? Because some people use, why is that not working? Some people use breeder boxes where they'll catch, if it's, let's say, guppies, they'll catch the pregnant guppy, put it in a breeder box and wait for it to have its kids and then flip it back in again, and you're thinking, well, isn't that stressing out that guppy by putting it in there? But I've recently started using a breeder box, mostly as an experiment actually. Let me see if I can find it. This one here, let's see if I can switch over to it. This is the Fluval, or even though it's called Marina, the hang-on breeding box. I think it's 2 litres or something like that, but it's quite big. And I was mostly using it for this tank here, this one here, because when I got the Celestial Pearl Danios, the extra ones for it, they were tiny, 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 and I thought the killifish is just going to eat all of them, so I just wanted them to keep them in the same water, get them used to that, grow them on a bit, and it worked perfect for that. And then I put it down in the fish room, and when I got some extra guppies, I took out half of so they had a big load of babies. I took out half of them, put them in the breeder box, and I left the other half in with the parents. And the ones in the breeder box grew at a much faster rate than the ones in with the parents. So it made me think, maybe that's the way to go. So this particular one, it's on sale as well. That's pretty good. I should get an affiliate code out for that. Toot sweet. This particular one it's the one that hangs on the outside, and it has an air pump. So the air pump has like a lift tube where it comes in, drops the water out, and it refills back into the tank on the other side. But the other one that I've noticed and that's great, and that works perfectly on this tank, but it doesn't work on a lot of other tanks if they have a rim or a lip, or the lid's a bit weird and things like that. So who was it? Somebody did a review of it. Oh, it was Sharpie, John. Sharpie's Models and Aquariums. He did a review or an opening of the Zis breeder box. So let me see if I can find that one, which is like an internal one. Zis Easy Breeder, is that what it's called? Yes, this one here. And that, I haven't got one yet, but I am planning to buy one. But it looks a lot better in terms of the exchange back into the aquarium is this kind of fine mesh. So even the breeder box I've got, it comes with these little gates, and I instantly lost most of them, so that's probably my fault. But the one that's left, if the guppies are very, very small, they can actually get through, whereas this is more of a mesh. So that seems better. And we'll come on to this in a little while, but this might be more useful if breeder boxes are proving to be better at raising up fry and more efficient. Then I might start using them more and more. Now let me slip back into the chat and see what we've got. In fact, I can put a link to that breeder box there, and then I think I get 3 pence if you buy one based on that link. Right, let's see if we can catch up a little bit. How often do you do water changes? Every bleeding day. Sorry, Martin. I've got a small fish room in my garage downstairs. I've got 3 tanks in here. I've got my big display tank in the living room. The garage, to be fair, is on automatic water changes, so they're on a drip system where it's just constantly doing water changes and overflowing into the drain. The discus tank in the living room is a big massive tank where I do 2 kind of 50% changes a week, and then in here I try and change all these tanks at least once a week. So I'm constantly doing one tank or another. I always say, oh yeah, I try and marry it up so as I'm only doing 1 day worth of water changes, but I'm forever faffing about with these fish tanks. So every day. Hello Aquaballs. How much are the CPD worth in the UK? The ones I see in Essex are £4 each, and for the size of them I think it's a rip-off. Good question. I'm not sure how much they are. I can't even remember how much I paid for them, if I'm completely honest. I got mine from Tropco. Let's see how much they were. I don't think they were expensive, but to be honest, even at £4 each, I think that's pretty good. They are awesome fish. I'll just type in here and see if I can find them. Yeah, they start at £3 for the 1 centimetre fish, up to £5.89 for 2 centimetre fish. So yeah, that's kind of comparable. If you can get them for £4 and they're not tiny babies, get them, because they are fantastic fish. In fact, let's see if this works. You could end up getting a fish like that. Look at the colours on them. That's my fish in the tank behind me. I managed to catch them with my camera. But I think, even though they are quite small and tiny little fish, I think they're absolutely awesome. Travis says, I have the Zis with all the openings, you can connect them together. Oh, I didn't know that, so I might look into that as well. What would be the best advice you could give to someone new to the hobby wanting to get into breeding? Thank you, awesome videos. Thank you, Nathan. If you want to get into breeding, I would get some guppies, because I've never been able to not breed guppies. And even though a lot of people say they're just guppies, I think they're great. They're some of the most colourful fish in the hobby. They're some of the hardiest, especially if you get good ones. I think you can learn a lot from breeding guppies. They are live bearers, so you don't need anything special. You don't need any kind of, oh, you must have these caves and you must have certain kind of RO water and things like that. But it gets you used to seeing the whole life cycle of a fish. You see a baby being born, growing up, providing cover, making sure you've got the parameters right for raising the fish and looking after it. And it gets you hooked. I think they were probably, if not definitely, the first fish that I ever bred. And I'm still breeding them now. I think they're great. It gets you into other things. I would steer away from things that go mental. The good thing about guppies is they never, unless you really try, they never really overrun anything, because if you get too many babies for the size of the tank that it's got, that's not very nice, but the parents will eat them, and they become a bit of a snack for any other fish that you've got in the tank. Whereas things like, I'm thinking of convicts or crebensis, which again I've bred and fallen into that trap myself, especially with cribs. The parents are so fiercely protective of them, and they have so many fry, that if you don't intervene yourself, you soon end up with a couple of hundred crebensis going, what the hell am I going to do with these? And shops won't take them, and they're hard to sell, and they're great little fish as well. It's a shame, but I'd start with guppies and then find something you like, and then make it a little project, make it a mission. For me, it was discus, trying to beat discus. I thought, right, this is hard, but I'm going to read all the things you need to read. I'm going to watch all the videos. I'm going to talk to all the people, and eventually I did it. So, and that was all because of guppies, I think, getting me into it. Hello from Glasgow. Hello there, George. Trevor saying, yeah, he's using the same one. A few guppies got back into the main tank. Yeah, that was my only complaint about this one. But I think it's because I lost the smallest gate, because I know the gates were different sizes. Hey, Travis, do you have an opinion on the Sims tropical fish? I bought a koi from there and it has koi herpes and had... Oh, you had to kill all your koi? That's a bit awful. I don't know a lot about koi, if I'm perfectly honest. I have started, one of the channels I do watch is Adam Julian. Not, now that I say it, I can't remember if that's right or not. And I'm starting to get into koi, but obviously I've never kept them. I don't have a pond as much as I'd like one. Even if I do get a pond, which I probably will next year, it's not going to be big enough for koi. So I'm a bit of a, not a koi wannabe, but I live vicariously through other people's kois. That's a bit of a shame. I hope you get that sorted out with them and they offer you some kind of compensation. All Exotics, hello there. Just made a video on Eliotti cichlids. God, I'm losing the ability to speak now. Not enough people keep them. Do you know what? I don't even know what they are, so I'm going to have to Google them. I'll pretend I'm doing this for the good of everyone else. Switch over. So we can all find out together what they are. Ooh. Like fancy firemouths, possibly. Well, I don't know much about them. But they are very fancy looking. Well, there's a wee project for me to learn more about them in the future. Thanks, just what I needed, more fish. Gorgeous, they are gorgeous, yeah, I like them. They're between $8 and $9 in the US right now. What's that? The CPDs. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I can't believe they're as cheap as they are. I think they should be even more expensive. Why do you prefer planted tanks over reef tanks or cichlid tanks? Good question. I am getting into planted tanks at the moment. Don't know if you can tell. I've always been into planted tanks. I've just always been rubbish at it. So I've never been able to keep healthy, lush, green-looking tanks. So it's taken a lot of trial and error and perseverance to get to have tanks that I'm happy with. And thankfully I am happy with these ones now. I did have a reef tank. I tried saltwater for a few years. I enjoyed it. But I think I enjoy this more, almost. I'm sure I'll get back into it one day, but I didn't say, ugh, disgusting, can't stand saltwater or reefs. I've never really known enough about African cichlids, for instance, I've often talked about. In fact, I think I've done live streams dedicated to me trying to figure out what to keep if I was going to keep cichlids. So I definitely do fancy keeping cichlids one day, and I do like I'm quite into aquascaping, but it seems to be hurting my channel. Whenever I do a video about plants or aquascaping, I get hardly any views about it, so it's difficult to make videos about those things, but I'm getting really into it and starting to enjoy the process of it. So whether it's planted tanks or just hardscapes or wood or all these things, I'm definitely getting into them. So I would be into doing definitely an African cichlid tank, whether it was Malawi or Mbuna or something along those lines. So I've got the reason I'm looking over there is my flower horn's trying to sneak up on me and convince me to feed it again. So I've obviously got some South American cichlids and really enjoying that. That's a tank that's just got rocks and a bit of wood, so no plants in there. I really like that. So I'm open to everything. But there's only so many spaces in this place where I can put fish tanks. Mickey says, never see CPDs in the fish shops in Northern Ireland. Love a big group of them. I would love a big group of them too, and I'm hoping that some of the new ones I've put in this tank are going to be females, and then I'll have a big group of them, and maybe I can send you some. Or even monster fish. I do like the idea of monster fish. Kelvin Zing. I worry about dedicating the tank space to it. So I had a Mabu puffer, which sadly died, and my plan for that was to build almost like a big pond in my fish room and dedicate one whole side of the garage to one big massive probably DIY tank, whether a plywood tank or something like that, and have a big Maboo puffer in it. I'd previously considered doing things like rays and arowana and all that kind of stuff, so I'm definitely interested in that side of it. But I really enjoy the smaller tanks and the shoals of fish and the breeding projects and things like that, whereas if I get big predatory fish, you tend to just get one or two big fish and that's it, unless you can really go for it and have like a 15-foot tank. And then you could get a big group of big fish, and that would be very cool, and I would definitely be up for doing that. Community fish. Anyone know of puffers that can go in a community tank with cories, dwarf cichlids, L-number plecos and larger tetras? Was thinking of South American puffers. Most of the puffers that I know about tend to be species only type deals. Certainly the larger ones, so I mean Maboos can be community tanks, they're quite peaceful. Fahakas, not so much. You get the odd ones that will do that. Even the little pea puffers, so I keep pea puffers, which are little ones, and I have kept them successfully with things like Ottos, cories. Actually, they were fine with them. Even cherry shrimp, they'll leave the bigger cherry shrimp alone, but they'll just eat the babies. Bristlenose plecos, they didn't touch them. But things with fins, I think they see as a bit of a challenge, or a bit too exciting, so they go and they nip away at the fins if they've got flowing fins, if you like. But I'm not too sure about like your figure eights and your green spotted ones. They prefer more brackish water and things like that. So I'm not sure. There are a few good groups on Facebook though that have given me some great advice on puffers. So I'm definitely not an expert on puffers. So I would suggest searching them out and having a look. Justice for Travis. They didn't offer compensation. They scammed me. Oh dear. Well, sorry to hear that, but yeah, I don't know what went on there. Have you seen the fish market in Bangkok? It's amazing. I've seen a couple of videos about that. Yeah, it's quite a sight to be seen. And some of the Chinese fish markets as well, they're pretty cool. The Tropco not ship out to you. So Mickey, the reason I was asking is, was it you that bought a fish off me recently? So, well, I'll start again. I have recently decided to start selling fish. Dun dun dun, big news. In fact, let me get through all these comments because I'm jumping from one side to the other. My LFS seemed to have less and less saltwater fish over the past couple of years. One of the Maidenhead stopped stocking saltwater. Well, that was one of the things that put me off the saltwater hobby. Was I had one shop in Sheffield that I could get saltwater fish from. So if they didn't have it, I wasn't getting it. So I was seeing all these pictures of all these other weird and wonderful and fancy fish that I just couldn't get. So yeah, there's that. But I've noticed a lot of that. There was a couple of shops in Sheffield that were doing saltwater that just stopped. I never really spoke to them to find out that. Did you see the Fly River turtle in your group? It was so cool. I want one someday. I did see that, yeah. Turtles are cool, so I definitely would be interested in getting them one day. I'm not sure if my wife's watching, but we may or may not be moving house one day, and that's certainly one of the stipulations, is that I get a big double garage to myself to turn it into a proper fish room, where I can have things like turtles and big predator tanks and all these things. But for the moment, we're staying put, and I'm kind of limited on space. What's CPD? CPD is Celestial Pearl Danio, not the captive police department. It's those little fish that I showed you in that video a minute ago. They are also called Galaxy Rasbora. I think when they were first discovered and described, they were put in the Rasbora family, and somebody called them the Galaxy Rasbora. But then as they found out more about them, they reclassified them as Celestial Pearl Danios. I'm not 100% sure on that being the right way around, but I think that's the way it worked. So you'll find certain groups of people still call them each of those things. So CPDs for short. Raymond's got an albino giant gourami, beautiful fish, around 7-8 inches now, very interactive. Oh, they had one of my local fish shops used to have a giant gourami that was more like, I was going to say 7 or 8 feet, but it definitely wasn't that big, but it was definitely a good 3 feet, if not more. Very interactive, just like you say. It was always coming up to say hello to you. I think they were great. Jennifer, Celestial Pearl Daniels or Galaxy Raspberries, exactly, yeah. I think it's Celestial Pearl Daniels, and certainly that's the one I'm leaning toward calling them most of the time. Mickey's going to check them out now. Yes, this morning, so I think we're nearly caught up now. I have started selling fish. Woo! If you have been on any of my previous live streams, you'll know that I've been wondering about this. So I used to sell the things that I bred. I'd sell them at local fish auctions, fish clubs, eBay, Neighbours, Classified, Facebook, before they put the ban on selling things like that. But they changed the rules in the UK a while back about what you could and couldn't sell without a licence. So I kind of stopped trying to breed things, but I missed the whole breeding side of things. So very recently, after phone calls to in fact, if you watch a video that I'm bringing out tomorrow, I talk about this a little bit more, but I'll skim over the details right now. But I asked everyone I could think of to help me interpret the rules, because they're just not clear. And if you go on eBay right now in the UK, you'll find hundreds of people selling fish that 100% do not have pet shop licenses. So it seems, even from phoning the council to say, do I need this license to be able to sell some of these fish? I'm not importing fish to sell as like a business, as a profit, but I'm not selling them for free, because I don't want use them as feeders or something like that. So am I classed as a business if I sell my fish like that? But if I'm a hobbyist, so in the old rules, if you were breeding fish yourself, you were allowed to sell the offspring however you saw fit. Obviously these new rules that have been brought in that demand the pet shop license, they're more focused towards the puppy farms and kitten farms and things like that, because if you read the regulations, not once do they mention fish. They're always talking about the puppies, and the animals must be kept in warm, dry conditions. And I'm going, how am I going to keep a fish in a warm, dry condition? But anyway, I digress. Finally got to the point of no one can give me a straight answer, so I'm going to assume my own interpretation, and have spoken to a few people in the business and the industry that yes, it seems to be the interpretation is if you're not importing fish in bulk to then sell on at a profit, crack on. So this very day or yesterday, I put up a few fish on my website, so aquariumadventures.co.uk. I know you've got this thing down here which pops up every now and again. It's not got my website on there, but you can go on the website and have a look. Or in fact, let's do that now ourselves, and I can talk you through it. Pardon me. So this is my website here. If we go into the shop, well, I've been messing around with this website, so if anybody out there is a web developer and they want a job but don't want paying, get in touch. I've tried to include my merch store on my website. It kind of works, so you can see all the t-shirts and stuff there, rather than having to go to the Spreadshirt website. So I'm still quite happy with them. I think they're genius ideas, but nobody ever buys anything. But if you go to the shop bit and click on shop, these are all things that are kind of, my shop is all stuff I have excess of. So if I have some extra plants, I'll sell some plants off. So if I'm taking cuttings, I'll sell them off. Snails, I'll sell some snails off. So these are the categories that I've got at the moment. So shrimp is something that I've been selling for a long time, and they've been doing quite well. But I've just recently added some fish, and I was worried about it, as I said, because of these new rules and regulations. So at the moment I've only added on some of the bristlenose plecos. I don't know, what do you think of those prices? Are they reasonable? I tried to go off what they were going for on eBay, and using that as a bit of a guide price. But I don't want to make them too cheap, because I don't want them being bought out in bulk by some nefarious person that's not going to look after them properly or use them as feeders when I start using other fish. But I don't want to make them too expensive either. But I've also kind of upped my game on packaging fish. So if you've ever bought shrimp off me, you'll know it's very much a DIY operation, where I'd use an old Amazon box and wrap it with bubble wrap and maybe a bit of polystyrene and things like that. But I've invested in a bulk load of these heat packs. So I've got the 48-hour heat packs. I've got my big roll of handled with care stickers for live fish. And I've bought off of eBay from Dr. Polystyrene a load of pre-made boxes, insulated boxes. So the video that I'm bringing out tomorrow that I've been filming all bleeding week is about these shipping boxes. I thought, let's do a bit of an experiment, see whether it's worth doing it at this time of year. So with a heat pack and these insulated boxes, how much do the temperature drop overnight if they're going to sit in a sorting office in the middle of Sheffield or somewhere else in the UK overnight? I wanted to be sure that they were going to keep their temperature. So I got some very interesting results, let's put it that way. Still not quite sure what to make of them completely, but I was surprised, let's put it that way. To cut a long story short, I think we're good to go. But yeah, it was quite a difference between different methods of how you package fish. Anyway, so that was just to let you know that I'm going to start selling off more of the things. So as my angels start to breed, there'll be angels. As the guppies get a colony going of them, the guppies will go up here. So by all means, reach out if you want to know more. But yeah, let me know if you think these prices are reasonable or not. I'm not looking to become a millionaire by selling these. It's just about chipping in towards the cost of running all these tanks, I guess. Right, let's see what we've got. Danio Margariatatis. That is correct, yes. That's what the CPDs are called. Any other YouTubers you gain insight and inspiration from? Oh, that's a good question. Not really in the fish side of things. I mean, I respect a whole bunch of fishy YouTubers. But if I'm completely honest, most of the people that I respect the opinion of in the fish world aren't making YouTube videos. This is more of a... The making of YouTube videos is a bit as much of a hobby for me as the keeping the fish, so it's just combining the two for me. I think a lot of the fishy YouTubers out there talk a load of nonsense, and I'm sure I'm one of them much of the time as well. But I do get lots of ideas from some of them and enjoy some of their content. But most of the stuff that I watch on YouTube is nothing to do with fish. It's a bit strange, I suppose. Your local council might ask to come and see your tanks. It's happened to a friend of mine. Well, I did get in touch with them to offer that and say, do you want to come and see my tanks and do you want to see my setup? And they were pretty much going, nah. So they may well do that, and I'm kind of prepared for that if they do that. The only reason I'm not insisting on it is it costs an absolute fortune here in Sheffield to get that license, and what they come for is that license. I know my friend Tim, who's the discus specialist, he has the license, but he actually lives in the Rotherham borough or the Worksop borough or something like that, so it's slightly different and a bit cheaper over there. So I know what's required. It's basically keeping a log of everything and making sure everything's above board, which I'm more than prepared to do, and hopefully I'm already doing. I just would like to avoid that initial outlay, because I'm not going to get a lot of money from this endeavour. It's not like I'm selling hundreds and hundreds of fish, so it'll take me a while to recoup the cost of that licence if I went down that way. What do pet shops give you if you take unwanted fish that someone needs to get rid of to stop an overpopulation in their aquarium? That's from Mark Campbell. In my experience, very little. The best I've ever been offered has been store credit at a terrible rate. So, I don't know, if you take in 100 guppies, you might get 10 pence a guppy or something like that. If you take in 100 bristlenose, you might get 50p a bristlenose. I'm making those numbers up completely, but they very much don't give you market value for them. And why would they? Because they've got a bricks and mortar shop to pay for, and they're going to have to feed all those fish and keep them alive until they can sell them all, so that totally makes sense. But most of them aren't interested. They'll either flat out say no, I don't want them, because they don't want you bringing in fish and infecting their fish. So you have to really foster a relationship with them first to be able to get them to take your fish in the first place. And then when you do, you probably won't get much. But if you're breeding for fun, what else are you going to do? So even getting 10 pence a fish it's okay, because what else are you going to do? That's 10 pence a fish to go towards your next bag of food or bag of sand or plants or breeding project or whatever it will be. What's the shipping cost? I think for shipping I've settled on £9. I was working this out the other day. Apologies if I'm wrong, I can't remember my own prices, but check it out, it will tell you on the website how much the shipping costs. So I've gone for how much these polystyrene boxes I've got cost, with the heat pad, with the stickers, with the packing peanuts and wadding and all those other good things. All my postage costs, basically the actual cost of shipping the box. I'm not making money off the shipping, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Because that was another thing I thought you had to use a specialist courier. In the UK it's usually APC that people use, but again I had a good chat with a postman and went down to the local post office as well and checked with them that we can actually use Royal Mail to ship fish, and they were finally happy with that, so they gave me the green light. So that makes it a little bit cheaper as well, because generally if you buy them off eBay or any other shop, it's kind of £12, £15 you pay for shipping, so I think £9 is quite reasonable. Yeah, Mickey's order gives me a good chance to get them to Northern Ireland. Just as well bought the 48-hour heat packs, I suppose. Yeah, your shipping might cost me a little bit more. The Snowman councils are all just shut now. I've missed that, sorry. Trevor, I've just paid $35 for my super red bristle nose over this side of the pond. Great prices. Oh, good. I'm glad I'm not... Oh, Mush the Snowman. Right, okay, I get that now. Sorry, where was his question? Mr. Snowman, your local council might ask to come and see... Yes, okay, we've done that. Sorry, I'm a bit slow, guys. CPDs, any good for community tanks? I am keeping them pretty much on their own in there, so they're in there with snails, shrimp, and one remaining killifish. But I'm told they're good with communities as well. Obviously nothing that's too big because they're quite small fish, but yeah, they do quite well. Good night, Ollie. We've probably already gone though, sorry. Have you ever thought about importing fish from abroad? I have. I'd love to get into discus properly. They're my favourite fish, and I'd love to go out and visit a farm in Asia or somewhere like that, or go over to the Stenker factory and have a look around there and then bring back a load and sell them. But I've got a really good supplier here in Sheffield already. I don't want to compete with him, obviously, because I'm such a nice guy, obviously, rather than him already knowing what he's doing and me just figuring it out. But yeah, it's kind of the back pocket dream. Is I'd love to be a fishy person and make this my actual business. And like I say, I'd probably concentrate on this because I think they're the ones I know the most about, and I think I've got the best chance of doing well with. But not right now. Josh, your Fly River turtle got a mention already. I did like that in the group. We were talking about that. If I ever get a bigger place or make space, turtle tanks might be in my future. Dan, Scotland's in the process of setting up a small fish room in my garage. Is there any advice you could give me? Something you wish you knew before you set your fish room up? Yeah. Double your budget is probably the way to go. No. Make it as big as you can. That's my advice, because one thing I'm constantly arguing with myself about is I've not got enough room to swing a cat in my little fish room, because it's only actually half the garage that I've used up. insulate it really well, because that'll cost you a lot of money in the future. Actually, on my website, I did a little blog post about my setting up of my fish room and all the trials and tribulations I had. So go and check that out. That's worth a read. But yeah, insulate everything. Use good racking. I know a lot of people are fond of their DIY racking, where they get like cinder blocks and 2x4s and place their tanks on them. That's great and all. But I've also seen a lot of people, and you don't see these people posting their videos on YouTube, but I've seen a lot of people who've tried that, and because they haven't got it quite right, they get to that certain tipping point and crack, flood the place. And not only have they flooded the place, they've wasted their aquarium, they've killed a bunch of fish. So obviously you see all the success stories on YouTube, you don't always see the bad end of that. So I use racking from, pardon me, a company called Big Doug, where they do like industrial racking. And it's kind of almost self-leveling. You still need to do a bit of leveling, but it gives me a lot of peace of mind, at least. Yes, Josh, that was your turtle. Someone mentioned it before. Frank, do you breed your CPDs? That's the intention. I haven't yet. I think I started with quite a small group, and I'm pretty sure they're all males. So I just bought another few to get the numbers up and hopefully get some females in there. So in the months to come, hopefully we'll get there and we will be breeding them. Scott Turner, thanks for the inspiration. But I didn't know I had inspired anyone. I was probably talking to someone else. Raymond says, I know some of the things that put people off is the import duty and taxes and getting the CITES licenses, etc. Yeah, when you want to make a business of anything, it's really hard, I think, especially with import tax. Back to the Felix again. I know I said I got a really good price on it, but because I got it from the Kickstarter campaign, I had to pay tax on it at its full price, which is why I think I said it was about 600 quid that it was getting quoted as. Whether that's the final price, I don't know, but I had to pay £110 or something like that just to get it. So they posted it to me and said, yeah, your order's been shipped, and then it sat in a warehouse until I coughed up 110 quid for Her Majesty's Customs and Excise to actually get it. So some of the import taxes on whether it's hardware like that or fish and livestock and all the other licenses that you need to get, like I say, not even the CITES license, just the license to be able to sell fish around here is super expensive, but I know in neighbouring boroughs it's cheap as chips, and other councils are everything in between. So yeah, they certainly know how to get their money off you. I'm being reminded by my notes now that I have to periodically, I know we've been going an hour and a bit, but I have to periodically say, oh, we've got 48 people watching but only 25 likes. Click the button, please. If you click the button, YouTube favours me, and I don't know, the gods will shine down on me. Josh, do you want me to post more cool stuff in the group? Of course I do, Josh. That's the reason we've got the group. It's probably worth talking about that now. So, like I said a while ago, I had a couple of weeks holiday maybe a month ago or 2 months ago, where I thought, right, let's give this YouTube stuff a bash. I've got nearly 10,000 subscribers. Or hopefully we'll have 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That number boggles my mind, because I haven't really tried as such to produce content. I've made videos and that's it. So I thought, well, let's put a bit of effort in, try and not just bumble your way through a video of, oh, here's me feeding the fish, not holding the camera steady. I'll put a bit of effort in and see if I can make stuff that more people will enjoy. Because I really enjoy the stuff that I'm doing, the keeping of the fish and the growing the plants and the seeing the fish grow and the breeding and all that kind of stuff. So if I enjoy it, surely other people can enjoy it too. So I thought I'll make a bit more of effort here, because I'm not seeing what I do on all the other fish channels that I watch, because a lot of the other fish channels that I watch, something about them generally annoys me. As I'm sure something about me generally annoys most people as well. So I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. I just thought, well, I'll do what I like, and then if people like it, they'll come along. but I may as well try and do it to the best of my ability rather than just half-ass it like I normally do. So to complement that, I thought, well, why am I not doing this with the rest of my social medias? So for instance, if you aren't already, I'd appreciate it if you went and followed me on Instagram, because I'm trying to put in some effort now and post on Instagram every day. So this is my Instagram feed at the moment, but as you'll see, I've only got 200 followers on Instagram, so I've got almost 10,000 followers on Facebook. There's only a select few of you that are following me on Instagram. So I thought, yeah, let's do a bit of effort, and I've been posting on Instagram almost every day now for the last month or so. Same with Facebook. I'm trying to post on Facebook regularly. And as Josh mentioned there, I have a group on Facebook that's got nearly 2,000 members, or possibly over 2,000 members now. But it had 2,000 members and no one ever posted in it, and I never posted in it, and I kind of forgot it was there. So I thought, let's get that back up and going. So asking people questions of things like, I mean, this was one of my video ideas. I should probably show you this later, but I have a book full of video ideas. So these are my current ideas, not that you'll be able to read them, but my page full of current video ideas to make, and one of those ideas was, why does every Facebook fish group suck? And which is a bit of a clickbaity title, because I thought that might work, but they do. They're either overly zealous about one particular thing, or you can't ask a question without someone jumping down your throat, or you can't make a statement without someone telling you you're wrong and starting an argument. And I thought, well, I've got my own group. I've got a couple of thousand people in there. Let's get a bit more traffic back to that, and we can do it the way I want. So I asked a question of people saying, well, what do you want from a Facebook group? Because you can have this one. Let's make this one better. But it's hard. You have to, Facebook groups, social media in general, Instagram followings, YouTube followings, they don't just work because you have a good idea about something. You have to put in a bit of effort to grow them and make them do things. So that was what I resolved to do a couple of months ago. I thought, right, I'll give myself to the end of the year and see how good I can do this, how much effort it needs before it's worth doing. So to that end, I thought, let's see if we can get some traffic to the group. So Josh, yes, I do want you to come in and post more stuff. I do want people to offer to be moderators, and I do want to promote it on other groups. So you'll see, if you're a member of any Facebook groups, you'll see people are always constantly saying, oh, come and look at our group, come and look at it. I can't do all that myself. I need other people to help. And really, I just need people to contribute. Otherwise, what's the point? Because no one needs another Facebook group. So that's my little mini rant, is that most of them suck. And when I say that, it's not that they're not terrible. They're not giving everything for everyone, and nothing ever will. But I thought, might as well have a go at doing something that we can control ourselves. Because I'm not a dictator by any means. I want people to be free to share their opinions and have discussions, and my God, even arguments. Why is everyone so scared of arguments? As long as you're not abusive towards each other, nothing wrong with a healthy debate. So sorry, I went off a little bit at a rant there, a tangent. So Josh, for instance, I know you've got a load of monsters, and I think I joined your group as well about your and I've seen that, and I think that's the right way to go. When you do have, well, here we're interested in this specific thing. That's the whole idea for having a Facebook group, whether it's monsterfish, predators, discus, cichlids, yeah. Also have lots of power outlets. Yes, that was something that I had to retrofit afterwards in my fish room. I assume we're talking about my fish room still. I would even go as far as make sure you have it on a separate circuit if you can get that, because I ended up trying to retrofit that so that if my fish room tripped, the rest of the house didn't, and vice versa, importantly. So when something goes wrong in the house or something trips, the whole fish room doesn't die, because I've had that happen as well. So yes, as many power outlets you can get, as much of a separate circuit and as much amperage as you can handle. Yeah, that's a good tip. Metal racks are easy, strong, and take up less space. They do. I tried the DIY route as well, and you end up reserving. Cinder blocks are quite big, really, and when you want to have more than one row of them, that's a lot of real estate you're losing in stacking cinder blocks. Dan, yes, definitely double your budget, but by all means reach out. Like I say, if you are on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any of those other things, reach out. If you get any specific questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. You inspire a lot of people, down to earth, simple but fun at the same time. Definitely simple. I keep thinking there's a neon tetra in the aquarium behind you on your left, but it's your Smart Aquarium gizmo. Yes, it is. So that's my Felix Smart. That will soon be moving into my new tank, so don't worry, it won't be here on every live stream. Do you have to label and pack fish to a standard for Royal Mail? They didn't specifically tell me that, but I have been using Royal Mail to send shrimp for a long time, so they're happy with the way I'm doing it. The main stipulation is if you're sending fish through Royal Mail, you have to clearly mark that it's fish, hence the stickers. I used to, when I've been sending shrimp, I used some homemade ones. Not that you'll be able to see that. Basically me printing out a load of live shrimp stickers and then sellotaping them on, but I thought I'll upgrade and go for it. So I've got a big roll of live fish stickers, and you have to send them first class minimum. So that was all it. Josh, I don't think they suck. In my opinion, there are a lot of Karens and know-it-alls. There are, yeah, and I didn't mean to do down all groups. It was just more of a clickbaity title to mention it. There are a lot of terrible groups, but there are a lot of good groups, and there's a lot of good people out there as well. Simon saying the only social apps I have are YouTube and Twitter. Had them all in the past, but didn't do my mental health any good. Yeah, social media can be a bit of a bugbear. There's a good film out at the moment, actually. The Social Dilemma or something like that. I think it's definitely worth a watch. I'll be a moderator. Yeah, well, you're welcome, James. Anyone that can do, I've got 3 at the moment because 3 people volunteered, so I was more than happy to let them be moderators. So I don't think we need more, but hopefully we'll get a bit bigger and we will need more. Greetings from Indiana, the budget aquarists here. Aquarist? No, what's the word? Aquarist. Yeah. I totally lost my train of thought there, trying to say aquarist. Are there any other decent UK tropical fish YouTubers? All the ones I've seen seem to be in the States. Yeah, most of them are in the States. I think the Fish Fam, #FishFam, is definitely more it's a prevalence for the States. We've had a super chat. Scott Turner, thank you very much, sir. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, there are a few UK YouTubers. There are a lot of smaller YouTubers, and I would class myself as one of them. But there are a few big ones like your George Farmers or your MD Fish Tanks. The one that I really enjoy watching, that I should have probably mentioned earlier with the inspiring bit, is... name's escaping me. Mark's Aquatics. He certainly seems to know his stuff, and I've got a lot of hints, tips, inspiration, and yeah, just general advice from watching his videos in the past. But there's a few UK YouTubers in the chat, or have been. Mountain Goldfish. We've had the Hobbyist Aquarist. By all means, drop your YouTube channels into the chat here and do a bit of self-promotion. I'm all for that. Twitter wears on the old mental health. I find Twitter really difficult, and I know I'm an old man now, but I don't see how you can win an argument with Twitter. And I'm making it sound like all I want to do is argue with people, but it seems so black and white that you have this social bubble, and no discourse between the two. It's we hate all these guys, and they never talk about anything. So I must admit, as a bit of a laugh, my Twitter feed has been exclusively jokes and memes for the last couple of months, just purely to rally against all that nonsense that I see in Twitter most of the time. Yeah. Raymond works for an import-export company, so it's handy if you needs anything big from. Oh, that could be you might be a useful man to know. We work with and clear live animals. If I ever need any fish, they'll do it at cost. Just need to convince the wife about getting more tanks. I know these wives are annoying sometimes. I'm pretty sure that if I didn't have a wife, I would just have 4 or 5 different fish rooms. But I must admit, she lets me get away with most of these things without any trouble. Reaper Jamie's just tuned in. Hello there, how are you doing? Just put your Simon's telling you how to tag people. Scott super chat just to thank you and keep it up. Thank you ever so much. That's much appreciated. Not expected, but much appreciated. Like I say, there's a few people who have also joined tonight. So if you join, you get that special little badge. Like if you see in the chat, Simon Harding's got his little. I'm quite disappointed now because it's so small you can't really tell, because that took me forever to do. His special little icon there, it's my logo with a green circle. So if you're a member for a month, you get a green circle. 2 months, you get a blue circle possibly, and then it keeps going up as the longer you subscribe. But you also get access to some special emojis down in the chat. So in fact, if I try and use one, let's see if that works. They took me more time than I'm willing to admit to create them, but I thought they were quite fun. So if you do join, you get to use those emojis. By all means, fill your boots, as they say. This is the best Scottish YouTuber though. Well, thank you very much. Am I the only one? I was considering doing many videos of my stuff on YouTube, but I don't know. Well, definitely go for it. Do you know what? That's exactly the same conversation I had with MD Fish Tanks maybe 2 years ago, and now look where he is. So you could be rocketing past me in no time and making an absolute fortune off YouTube. I mean, well, I've talked about this many times in the past. My YouTube career was me starting making, like say, little mini videos. I've just bought a bunch of discus. Let's take a little video of them. Me saying today's date is such and such. So as when I looked at it in 6 months' time, I could go, oh my, they have grown. Yeah, because you can't tell these things when you see them every day. And it was all that sort of stuff. And I can't even remember what video it was. I made one video that got something like 500 views, and I was like, oh my god, 500 people have watched this over the space of about 6 months. So I thought, well, I'll make some other videos, and then started realising that YouTube videos were a thing, and that people made them about their fish tanks and all that kind of stuff. And it just grew from there. So that's exactly the way to start, is just making a few things. If anybody is considering starting a YouTube channel, don't go out and spend 10 grand on equipment just to be able to film your stuff. You've probably got something in your pocket like this, more than good enough to get started on YouTube. Audio, that's the main thing, not video, which is strange to say in something that's a video medium, but yeah, audio is the way to go. Mickey has a wall crying out for a Fluval Flex 123, the 123 litre in my fish room, but no power to it. I'm sure a man of your abilities could route some power down there, definitely. Is the Fluval Flex 120, is that the Mega Flex? I quite like them as well. I'll keep wondering about that space there, so I've got my printer there. That could probably come over to this side of the room, and that might have a little space there that I could put something. Another super chat. Trevor, thank you very much. Great content, keep it up. Definitely. Thanks ever so much. But the little fluval flex might fit there. I don't know. I don't know about the pink stand, but you know. I have a channel from when I was a kid years back. Used to have just under 1k subs. Yeah, well, it's fun. I mean, it's not for everyone. A lot of people have no interest in making videos. It's because it is a lot of effort and a lot of time sometimes. But I enjoy it. Recently found the Geordie Scaper on YouTube, and he's worth a watch. Do you know what? I recently found him too. I found him on Instagram, and that's where I noticed. The thing that I noticed was he's getting a hell of a lot of free shit. Every time he posts, it's oh, thank you to Oasis for sending me this biotherm. Thank you to Tropica for sending me all these plants. Thank you to... And I'm going, why the hell's he getting all this stuff? But, you know, jealousy is a horrible thing. I need to find a way to get in touch with all these companies to see if they can give me some of these stuff. Because I'd love to do more projects. I have kids and they demand all my money. Divorce is always an option. Oh no, I definitely couldn't go for a divorce. Definitely take the wife over the fish tanks. She might be watching. Besides your channel, I like KG Tropicals, Aquarium Co-op and Ohio Fish Rescue. Yep, I have watched all of them. I've been a fan of Aquarium Co-op since... I think I joined when he had something like... He had less subscribers than I do now, basically. Yeah, enjoy his attitude to most things. He's willing to break from the norm and consider other options for things and that sort of stuff. Some of us prefer fish to handbags. Yeah, well, I don't actually have a handbag, but I'll take your word for it. Simon, I don't actually see those stickers. Oh, well, sorry if that doesn't work. Oh, no, you found them. Panic over. Yeah, so I think I might be able to get some more stickers now, because the more members you get, the more stickers you're allowed to make or have. So I've got 4 at the moment. So maybe I'll take suggestions on what the next 2 might be, because I think I'm allowed up to 6. Wendy, I think my husband would prefer me to collect handbags. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people in the hobby who are often like, well, my partner says, why can't you just take up golf? That only costs thousands. You'll have to have a picture frame fish tank on the wall soon. Do you know, I've looked at them before, not to put fish in, but just as a kind of like aquascaping exercise, because I think they could look quite nice. The front bow on the glass on the Flex harbours a lot of dirt from the videos I've seen. I'd quite like to check out Oasi's line. Is it Oasi or Oase? I'm never quite sure how to say that. Maybe that's why they're not sending me any stuff. Oasi's line of aquariums. Yeah, I know the Flex, obviously you can't have a magnet scraper that goes that way, but I remember watching a video for once. I can't remember who it was now, and I probably don't want to point it out to them because it'll make them seem foolish, but they made like a good 15-minute long video about how the Fluval Flex was terrible because you couldn't use a magnet scraper on it, and I commented you could just turn it and do it that way, and you could just imagine the red face, because I got a message from them later on going, I might have to take that video down because now I feel like such an idiot. But yes, I like the theory of it, but I'm told from the people that I know that have one, it's quite a good package. So it's not just, it's a nice shape and it's interesting, but it's also quite good filtration wise because it's got that built-in filter. I don't know if the big ones do or the smallest ones do, but the one that I was looking at did certainly, and they have quite a good light in them as well. So I think they're quite a good package, even though they're not the cheapest in the world. Scott Turner, is the membership working? It should be. We've had a few people have joined tonight live on stream, just making my day really. So if it's not, I don't know why not. Mickey says, I have the Fluval Fix 55 at the moment. The front curved glass is never a problem to keep... Words like that. Never a problem to keep clean. Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's any more susceptible to dirt than any other tank. Reaper Jamie says my 57 litre gets a bit dusty on the front now and again. Yeah, but don't all tanks? I don't know that it does any more than any other one. Mickey says I also love the Fluval filter system. God, you're taking the words right out of my mouth, Mick. And then Simon saying, yes, I do like the package as a whole. Too late for me now because I have a dual Lido 120. I do like dual tanks. My custom fish tank in the living room is the main discus tank you'll have seen on the channel, the recent videos. That was almost a dual because I really like those tanks. In fact, this tank here is a dual, although I didn't buy it, inherited it off one of my neighbours. Definitely want to watch on this one because it's a great little tank. And I think the majority of the dual tanks that I've seen have all been really well made. Yeah, I've just been impressed with the whole dual line. Right, I think I've caught up finally with all the comments. I have my little comment card or prompter. We haven't done the competition yet. So, talking about Facebook groups, we had on my group, as one of the things that I tried to get the group talking, I thought I'd run a bit of a competition for the month of September. The top contributor is going to get a sheet of the stickers. So there's only 2 of them here, but I think a sheet has 6 of them. So we've been running a competition because Facebook does this thing called Insights, where if you have a group, you can have a look and see what's going on in the group and who's making lots of posts and all that kind of stuff. So where is it? So September finished the other day, as you know, and we can now share with you who won. So drum roll please. If I'd thought about this, I could have probably done some kind of sound effects. But if I get out the way, that is the month of September's top contributors. So I said I was going to offer a prize to the top 3, being some stickers for the top 3. So John Nimmo, John Sharp and Lee Gianotti. So Lee, I think, is Leroy, who was at least here earlier. I probably bored him to tears and he's gone away and done something else now. But Lee, you have won. So as well as some stickers, I said the top rated channel would get a shout out in one of my videos. So all my members, or the hero members, get a mention at the end of my videos from now on. So Lee, you'll get a shout out on there as well. There's the drum roll coming. Thank you, Jamie. But I also know John Sharp. You might recognise him as Sharpie's Models and Aquariums or something along those lines. Yeah, Leroy's Fish, that's me. There you go. I knew I saw you earlier. So you are the winner. You're going to be the proud receiver of some more of these. I'll reach out to you or get you to send me a message on Facebook or something like that. Somehow get in contact. I think all the links to my socials are either up on the screen or down below in the comments. Get in touch, send me your address, and I'll send you some stuff. But yeah, so I know Lee's got a channel as well and is a member of a few different groups. So if you want to spam the comments with any of your things you want people to check out, by all means go for it. He obviously posts quite a lot in my group, but he's got a lot of different fish and some good stuff there to see. So go and check it out. And if people have enjoyed this, I might do the same again for next month. So get commenting. So we'll get rid of that for now. I've just realised, so I talked earlier about OBS, and it's, if you've ever used the software, it's a bit clunky and a bit weird, but I've just found a picture in OBS on a source called pimp.jpg, and I don't know if I really want to click it just to see what it is. I should probably go into a different screen just in case it's something terrible, but I'm going to have to click it because I need to see what this is. It's just a thumbnail for one of my last things. Phew, that could have been different. Yeah, so that was one of my previous videos, and like I said earlier, all my aquascaping type videos, they all bomb. I don't quite know why, because even though I'm not that good at it, well, that's probably why they're not doing so well. I really enjoy the aquascaping side of things. So I shall persevere. So yes, congratulations, Lee. Well done. We'll get some stuff over. Josh says, check what I've just posted in the group. Oh dear. Is that because it's been... hope it's not anything bad. Ooh. Xanthic eel, a banana. Yes, Josh has some weird and wonderful fish. I do like seeing all your stuff. Recent orders might get some stickers, I heard. Well, I'm running low on stickers, so if there's enough left after giving it to all the prize winners, I'm sure I can stick in a few with your order. I'll get that out on Monday, hopefully. Leroy's Fish Channel, there it is. Oh, we have Candy's in the house, doing all manner of moderator jobs. You're like a robot, a moderating robot. Excellent stuff, thank you very much. Your escaping is cool. That's ever so nice of you to say, but I know that I am at best an enthusiastic amateur rather than any actual skill. But I'm really happy with these two. I think they're working out quite well. But that's the problem when you get something that you're happy with, you want to do it again, but I don't want to touch them because I'm really happy with them, and now I don't have any more tanks to have another go at doing something else. So I'm kind of, what do I do? So that's why maybe this will become a little space to have something nice in it. James Handy. Dang, I'm late to the party. Hello everyone. That's fine, you're welcome. We have been going for quite a while now. How long has this stream been running? How do we tell? I have no idea. An hour and 36. My god. I haven't even got to any of the things I wrote down on my prompting card yet. So we've done the competition winner. Well done to Lee. We've done the selling fish stuff, so all the shipping and the new websites. The new video, which will probably be coming out tomorrow, where I talk about well, I'll give you a sneak peek if you promise to watch it anyway, and I'll tell you what it's all about. A sneak peek of testing my new boxes and heat pads and stuff like that, where pretty much every night this week I've been leaving boxes of hot water outside with various configurations, trying to see how much the temperature drops, and got some quite surprising results. So that video will be out tomorrow. I did want to talk a little bit about what are your buying habits? How do you buy fish? Whether you buy them at chain stores like your Pets at Home, or if you're in the States, if it's Petco or similar, or if you like to go to the independent stores, or if you like to buy fish something privately, I guess is the way to do that, whether it's off eBay or whether it's off the fish clubs and auctions. Because I had a bit of an experience recently. Well, I suppose we've got a little bit of prompt cards, definitely. I had to write down things when I get completely tongue-tied when I try and do live streams. If I didn't have something, even though I managed to get through a good hour before I looked at them, I think that was quite good. If I didn't have this, you'd be in danger of getting 10 minutes in and just be staring at me going... So, I'm proud of myself that I managed to make it over an hour without looking at them, and I did cover some of the issues. But one of the video ideas I had recently was... it was because of this, actually. In fact, I'm sure I've got a picture of it somewhere. It was this meme that I've seen popping up in a few groups recently. Well intentioned, I think, because obviously the majority of people who are going to the Pets at Home or the Pet Smarts, they don't know a lot about fish. So it's a bit of people going, no, how smart I am, pat myself on the back, I know more than the person who's working here. And I had a bit of an experience in my local Pets at Home, so I wasn't actually buying fish, but every time I go in there, I go and have a little look around and check out the fish, because why wouldn't you if you're in there? And there was a girl in there, she was, I I'm not 100% sure whether or not she was actually the fish person, but she was obviously covering the fish section, if not, and she was quite honest with somebody. They were having a chat with something, and she said she didn't know the answer. I didn't quite hear what the question was, but they were talking. Obviously, this person was interested in buying some fish. They'd asked some questions, which is perfectly reasonable, and that's what you want to hear. And from what I could overhear, that person didn't know the answer to one of those particular questions. So I have no interest in being the guy that jumps in and goes, "I probably know, ask me." But I was kind of hanging around at that point to see if I could overhear what was going on, and I could chip in with some helpful stuff. But before I could do that, someone else butted in and started having a proper go at this young girl. I mean, she must have been only, I don't know, late teens, early 20s, something like that. And this guy's giving it, "I can't believe you work in here and you sell these animals and you don't have a clue about the first thing about looking after them and all this kind of stuff." And I was a bit like, whoa, calm down, mate. So I just kind of gave him the death stare and said, "Calm down, F off," type of thing, of which I'm quite a large gentleman. That usually works out quite well for me. So gave him the death stare, away he buggered off. And the girl, she was quite upset by this. She was visibly shaken by it. And so I ended up apologising on behalf of this random stranger who's just being a dick. And it got me thinking about things like this. This means that you don't know more than everyone, because one of the things I've experienced in my local pets at home, I'll be the first to slate some of the people that I've had dealings with in some of the pets at homes. But my local one, there's a woman that works there who knows way more than probably anyone I've ever met about fish. And a couple of guys in that one, and I'm quite lucky. I have a few pets at homes in my vicinity, and in each of them, bar one, I've always met someone who did know their stuff and they know what they're talking about. And it's not that unusual. If you're going to take a job working at a pet shop, probably got an interest in pets. If you're going to get stuck on the fish section, you've probably got an interest in fish, unless you're covering for someone's lunch or something like that. It's not unusual for someone that works in these places to be doing it. We've got a member of my group and someone that I know from various forums and posts. Also has a YouTube channel, Freshwater Ichthyology, I think it's called. She works in a Maidenhead Aquatics, I think it is, but she had posted that she gets a lot of abuse, or not necessarily abuse, but she gets a lot of people looking down their nose at her because she's a girl and she's only a shop girl that works in a shop. So what could they possibly know about these things? But she's got degrees in the stuff. She knows her stuff, definitely. So, long story short, I disagree with this meme, and I thought there must be a video in here somewhere, but I can't quite get my head around what I'm trying to say in the video, other than give these people a break. They're often low-paid jobs, minimum wage or something like that, but that doesn't give you the right to disrespect the people who are doing these jobs, and often they do have really valuable knowledge. Why wouldn't they? What I don't get is the assumption that you automatically know better than someone that's gone out of their way to take a job doing this thing that you do as a hobby. They likely are still in the same forums that you're in on the internet, and they're talking about the same things in the same groups. Because, yeah, why would you do the job if you had no interest in it whatsoever? Often it is people doing this as it might be a part-time job while they're studying. It might be something to work around kids or childcare and that kind of thing. So they're definitely doing it with the best of intentions. So I guess the video I want to make is stop giving these people a hard time, but I can't think of a way to make that a good video, if that makes sense. So I thought I'd talk about it here. So I don't know if that's of any interest to anyone, or if I'm just ranting with nothing sensible to say. I'll dive back into the comments because you might be telling me to shut up for the last 10 minutes, so let's see what's being said. So James lives in the States and tries to buy his fish at local fish stores, the mom and pop shops. Yes, I like that too. one of my favourite fish shops is an independent place. It's not a very good fish shop, but I just like it for the fact that they're obviously into it and they take great care, and yeah, I like that feeling of it. It's not the corporate entity with all that means and all that entails. I do like that. I think my favourite way to buy fish is from a breeder or from a hobbyist, because you tend to get stronger fish that way. They're certainly better looked after because they've not necessarily been shipped all around the world before you get them, or run through all kinds of meds or whatever before you get them and weakened. It's in my experience, you tend to get better fish that way, but choice is limited, I suppose. In my experience, the pets at home are the worst by far. They can be, and as much as I'm saying don't give these guys a hard time, I've met some proper nut jobs in pets at home who have said some real stupid things. But I don't think that's a reason to start having a go at them. That's the bit that I get worried about. Luke says, I was at Pets at Home the other day and I heard someone being trained. They literally told them the customer will always know more than you. Yeah, it's things. Pets at Home specifically don't help themselves. I don't know if you've seen that picture of. They often have it up in Pets at Home saying, if you're interested in buying fish, you have to buy your tank one day, fill it, leave it one day before coming back to buy fish. And I remember saying to them when that first went up, and I saw it, I went, why is that? And the woman, the one that I'm talking about that knows her stuff, was like, oh God, the amount of times I've had to tell people to ignore the sign that's in their own shop. Yes, the person who writes the marketing material for Pets at Home deserves to be fired. The people that work in the front line at the retail section don't. Always, because some of them are really bad. But there's bad people in every job. Local fish shops, or I get them shipped to me, says Trevor. Very seldom do I buy from chain stores. Yeah, I mean, I have bought fish from Pets at Home. I don't think they're always terrible, but I do prefer to use the smaller shops, just because I'm supporting a small business, I guess. Just ask them how long they've been keeping fish. That'll tell you right there. Yeah, and that's a good way to talk to the people. And often the people that I've met in the chain stores are willing to tell you what they keep. Especially, you can tell, I don't know whether you can or not, but you can tell a fishy person because they'll talk to you about what you keep before they ask you what you want. That's the way it's worked for me so far anyway. Jennifer says there used to be one in Cooper, Fife. Oh, I remember Cooper well. I used to go to St Andrews all the time. That was one of my regular haunts, go through Cooper. Quite a few in Paisley Road West in Glasgow, and all the Maidenhead Aquatics and the likes of Dobbies. Yeah, Dobbies is good. I quite like visiting the Dobbies. My dad, if you're here, Dad, hello. He quite often would send me pictures of their visits to Dobbies when you're taking the grandparents out for, I don't know what it is about old people that like going around garden centres. But he'd always send me a video of the fish in Dobbies. That was quite fun. Scott has become a member. Thank you very much, Scott. You figured it out then. Oh, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Maidenhead will sell you anything, no questions asked. I don't know if that's true for all of them. That might just be one. Certainly, I remember when I was keeping saltwater fish, I went down to, I can't even remember where it was, possibly Nottingham. I Maidenhead Aquatics at Nottingham, and I asked about a puffer fish because I was obsessed by puffers at the time. Just because I literally didn't know, and I got no reception on my phone when I was there, and I think it was a Valentini puffer. And I asked about it and said, well, what kind of tank does it need? I said, I've only got a 300 litre cube tank, and it's got clownfish, cleaner shrimp, and whatever else it was that I had in there. And the guy was like, yeah, no problem. You can definitely get that. And I didn't buy it, obviously, because I wanted to go away and do my own research first. But when I did get back and do my own research, it was possibly the worst advice I've ever received about any purchase in my entire life. That fish would have wiped out my entire stock of corals and fish, and I'd been left with one very fat and unhappy pufferfish. Jamie says, got my last fish from there and tested the water they came in. pH was below 6 and nitrate was 60 parts per million. Yeah, that's one thing. I've seen this in a few independent shops as well. If it's somewhere new, I will definitely test the water before I try and put it into my tank, and never put that their water in my tank unless I know that they're doing some really good husbandry, because I've seen even worse than 60 parts per million nitrate. I've seen well over 100 in some cases. Simon says, this particular subject really annoys me. People can be so rude and ignorant. They can, and I guess it's that element of it that really pisses me off. Because people can be right, people can be wrong, but I don't think they deserve to be abused like that. Yeah, because that was it. This guy was giving it right in the face. So yeah, he got the death stare, and that soon put him back. Maidenhead sell rubbish fish. I've been quite impressed with. I've only been to 2 or 3 Maidenhead aquatics, and I thought they were quite good actually. Definitely the pricier side, so yeah, overpriced. I've seen that. It's nice to be nice, isn't it? Just yes. With all national chain and franchise stores, there's always a varied level of care experience, both good and bad. Just my observation from visiting, and yeah, I would agree with that. It is one of my worst experiences with an independent local store. Yeah, Simon, that as much as people jump on the big chains, I've seen really bad practices in other places. I remember once, it was, I shan't name the shop actually, but I went in and I was looking for rainbow fish, and I said I only want females because I was trying to do some breeding projects, and kind of turned my back as I was saying. So I was looking. It was the little what do you call them, neon blue rainbow fish, where the males have the red tails and the females have the yellow tails. And so I said to her, I'd really like some females. Can you get me 6? And she was like, oh, yeah, I'm not sure which ones are the females. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's the ones with the yellow tails. And she's like, right, okay, that's fine. And I kind of turned my back for a minute, and then when I turned back, not only had she not given me the female rainbow fish, she hadn't even given me rainbow fish. She just packed up 6. I can't even remember what they were now. I think they were kind of those big, is it the Congo tetras? And they didn't even have yellow tails. So I was a bit like, and it was because of the way I'd kind of turned away to talk to someone else as she was picking them out and got them back, and they were in the bag. Got to the till, paid for them, and thought, oh, that doesn't sound like the price they were meant to be. I think they were slightly cheaper. So I was like, oh, I'll just keep Stum, proud Scotsman. Then got out, sat in the car and looked at them and went, oh, it's not even the right fish. So I don't know how you can get that far wrong. We must have said the word rainbow fish about 15 times within the 30 seconds prior to her bagging them up, but there you go. For those that are interested, one of my worst I've just read that one, sorry. Leroy's Rebecca's a good friend of mine. Yeah, well, she was one of the people I was talking about there, that she mentioned she regularly experiences that type of thing. And yeah, it's just not on, basically. Scott Turner, thank you very much for your membership. By all means, fill your boots. Try out all the custom emojis that I spent far too long making. The extra shipping cost that I'm not willing to pay, that is a thing about. I mean, any kind of shipping, it's expensive. As I was talking about earlier, I'm looking to try and start shipping stuff, and it's just not cheap. I will likely lose out on most of the shipping, because it's going to cost me more than I will be charging for it. But I'm just trying to get that balance right. A local guy to me has turned his terraced house into a fish shop. Wow. Oh, there's Robert Kerr. Hello there, Dad. He is here after all. Simple Fish Life, not seen you for a while. How's it going? Raymond, I've got 6 or 7 fish around the fish shop. 6 or 7 fish shops around the Heathrow area. Most of them are Maidenhead Aquatics. There's one's called Waterlife. Oh, I've heard of Waterlife Centre. Yeah, they do get some unusual fish there. I might have been there, but I might be mistaking that for something else. Was that the one that they had the discus show in what was it, 2016, something like that, or they sponsored it or something along? I can't remember. I could be talking nonsense. People slate pets at home, but the only place I've been to ask questions about your setup to see if it's suitable, and will refuse a sale if not adequate. That's completely true, Ben. It's a slight bugbear of mine. that I can't remember if I made a video about this or not. I certainly did mention it in some videos where I'd gone to Pets at Home and they have their list of questions. Is the aquarium set up? Does it have a heater? Does it? And I just answered everyone wrong completely. And they went, right, fine, tick. All they wanted me to do was to answer the questions. They had no interest in what the answers actually were. Now, again, that was one individual. It's not it's the people that you speak to. If you've got someone who normally looks after the cat food, but they're covering a shift, or they're someone who normally does the fishes on lunch, they can only do what's in front of them because they're essentially reading off a script. But yes, I have been refused a sale in Pets at Home. I wanted to buy a betta fish for my daughter, and because I told them that the tank had only been set up that day, they wouldn't sell me the fish. So I'm there with my phone showing them the video that I had just published about me setting up the fish with the seeded filter in my fish room with all the other tanks at the same time. And I'm going, I know I've only just set it up today, but it's completely cycled, it's ready to go. No, computer says no, not having it. So I couldn't. What can I say? Ferrybridge Aquatics, that's another one I've heard good things about. I've never been though. Wharf Aquatics is another one that's quite local to me, that is excellent. I mean, I've only been 2 or 3 times myself, and I haven't been recently, obviously. Although they are open, so I probably should go back down. But that's an excellent fish shop. Pier Aquatics, I've not been there for a long time. It certainly used to be really good. I believe it still is quite good, but I've not been for a long time, and I know a few people have moaned about it recently. Furren Fins is my local fishman, top quality and good prices. Got to live in South Wales though. Yeah, well, local people are always... if you find someone that's a specialist in something, then that's definitely... like I say, I think buying from a hobbyist or buying from someone who's a specialist in something is always the best way to go. Ian James, sorry, I can't read. I'm having problems. Even got my specs on, I still can't see anything. Only a short trip down the M4 for Simon. Very good. I buy all my discus from James. Who's James? Simon, worth a visit. I've lost the train of that thought, so I'm just going to skip over it. But I have noticed Josh saying I've forgotten to take down the meme. I think it's important that we leave it up there so as we can shame people as they post it. There we go, we'll get rid of that. Ferrybridge isn't far from Wharf. Oh, is it not? I've never been. Yeah, I'll need to check that out. Yeah, well, I suspect, Josh, as you're into some of the more weird and wonderful fish, you probably do have to travel the country to get the things that you're interested in, I guess. I know I've certainly driven hundreds and hundreds of miles to buy discus in the past, but I'm just really lucky that I've got a really good supply quite close to me now. Right, folks, I think we're getting on to the 2-hour mark. My voice is about to go and I'm dying for a drink. So I think we're going to have to call it quits for the evening, but I really enjoyed that. I hope we have a chance to do it again, because I'd only got halfway through my prompting notes. So maybe next week or the week after. Well, in fact, definitely not next week, because I've got a big job on next weekend. But follow my socials. Join my groups. Let me know what you want to see. If you've enjoyed this, let me know. Give me some likes. We need to make sure we keep this up. I've got lots of subscribers now. I'm sure we can do this again and again. Let's see what these final few comments say. You got some wild polypterus shipped in from Berlin this morning. Bloody hell. Douglas Cartledge, I love Wharf Aquatics, great selection of fish and loads of scaping supplies. I know, it's great, and that was the thing that struck me about Wharf is, I don't know if anyone's ever been, it's a big, fairly famous fish shop in the UK. It's not far away from me, but when you first turn up, it's actually 2 buildings, and the one that you see first always looks shut. So, and I see it all the time when I'm down there. You see people driving up and they're kind of looking around and they see it and you just see their face drop as if, oh my god, I've driven 3 bloody hours and it's shut. But the second one is actually open. And when you go in there, they've got like a dry goods section, which has plants and some tanks and stuff set up. And then you go out from that building into the other building, which is the main fish rooms. But in between that, there's just, well, every time I've been, at least, there's just been a huge selection of gigantic pieces of rock and driftwood, of all kinds of stuff, and there's just tons and tons of it. I mean, the first time I walked in there, I was a bit like, and none of it was that expensive. I know you see crazy prices for driftwood and stuff like that, but they had really, really big, massive pieces that I would have thought would easily be a couple of £100, £300, from some places, but they were selling for 60 quid, and you're like, my god. So there's definitely some good. I wish I'd seen that place before I finished my big tank. So when I come to rescape that tank, I'll definitely go down there for some choice pieces. But yeah, it's a very good place. Wendy's off. I'm off soon as well. Raymond needs to use the facilities. Is this live stream becoming a weekly thing? Maybe. I'll go as far as maybe. It's definitely going to be monthly, maybe fortnightly, maybe weekly. We'll see how it goes. I know it can't happen next week because I've got a big job on for my proper job, so I'll be busy all night, Friday night, Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, I've enjoyed this. Hopefully you all have as well, so we get back in again. So we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, everyone, for all your support and all the new members. Yeah, it's been fantastic. Check out all the links down below if you haven't already. You can follow me on my Instagrams, my Facebooks, all my socials, all that kind of stuff, and we'll see you in the next one. Just remember, tomorrow morning there'll be another video coming out. Check that one out, and yeah, what more can I ask? We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'll see you later. Bye.